Presented by Holly Miami.
Welcome, I am Holly Miami and this is Holly's Wild Side on New Year's Eve 2022. We put a good spread of stuff together so that you can be bouncing around as you're getting ready to go out. Now I know that sort of doesn't exactly help too much with the makeup, but there you go. I'm sure the girls will manage, just the guys will struggle with that. So we're going to open up some fairly bouncy stuff and we'll tell you a little bit later on as we go through on what it's all going to be like and what it's all going to be about. Alright, I'll make it up as I go along then. I do normally.
Classic hits to the best of today.
Holly's Wild Side.
Yes, we still haven't got the video jingle sorted out, so you've got to look at me going as the jingle plays out. So, right, we are here on New Year's Eve. Now, there's been something of a little bit of a conflab going on the socials as we've gone on. As you can see behind me, sorry, I don't know which way around this camera's working, I've put up Happy New Year 2022, because at this present moment, and here we are at 6:05 in the evening, it's 2022, but I notice a lot of people are doing Happy New Year 2023, so what am I supposed to do? Should I put two up? The thing being, if you're doing a show that goes through or past the midnight thing, yes, if you watch Jules' programme on the television, you know he does 2023, but it's not yet, so it's 2022, and this is from me to all you lovely listeners. Happy New Year to you all. This is, obviously it's pink, I mean, what else did you expect me to do? So we've got, as I say, we've put a number of bouncy tracks together. I threw a little bit of a post out on the socials earlier on in the week for a little bit, anybody wanted to put some requests in. So we've got some requests for you. Unfortunately, because it's a video show tonight, I can't take requests on the fly, but we've got a couple in that a lot of you lovely gang have put in, and we'll mix them up. I'm also going to do a little bit of a rundown on the year. It's New Year's Eve, and it's the sort of thing you do. But first of all, do you like the background? I think it's rather becoming right. Okay, so some people don't know what I'm talking about. This show is going out on video as well. If you actually want to see what I look like, go to my website, which is hollymiami.com. You know the way my name is spelled, and the Twitch link is right on the top of the website. You don't have to join or sign in. You just click on it, and there I am in pictures. I know it works perfectly well on computers. It works perfectly well on iOS. I know some Android devices struggle with it, but if you want to see what we're looking like, and more to the point, what I'm talking about, you've got to hit that. So first of all, as I say, we're going to line up, we're going to do a little bit of a rundown on the year, because being a musician as I am, I do like to commemorate some of the artists that we've lost this year, but we'll open up with just a couple to start off with, to keep you going and to keep you bouncing around.
Outside, Holly's Wild Side.
Love music.
So New Year's Eve, I mean, anybody who is in the entertainment biz knows that New Year's Eve is probably the biggest event of the year. We all talk about, you know, when you're in a band or when you're a DJ or any kind of act, any kind of entertainment act that goes out there, you're able to sort of hike up. I think it used to be 3 times normal fee for New Year's Eve and double normal fee for Christmas Eve and Boxing Night and all this sort of stuff. It all goes on in the trade, and it's probably the same now. But what you have to remember is, and again, before I came on here, I watched sort of a couple of the old Top of the Pops things that the TV companies decided to put on, and there's one on at the moment that's sort of like a sum up of the 80s, and the trouble is I missed most of the 80s because of course I was on stage, so whenever all this was happening and people were watching Top of the Pops, I was there giving it large myself, and a lot of the stuff I missed. So what I intend to do, hang on, let's sort that out, there you go, that's that gone. What I intend to do is to sort of like get us all in the mood, because 2022, and we'll go on a little bit more about this as the show goes on, it's been the year we were all allowed out to play, and it's been the year we were all sort of got back to normal as best part we can, and we all just sort of celebrated this. Right, so like I say, I threw it open to some requests, and the delightful John Harfield wanted a Billy Ocean track, Red Light Spells Danger. Bearing in mind it's all about driving, and I actually met John some years ago in a driving job we both did together, so it's quite poignant. Don't we love it when it all falls apart? Hey, it's New Year's Eve. We're all in a party kind of atmosphere. So come on, you lovely people. Are you actually going out, or have you dropped into, when COVID was around, we all dropped into this doing stuff at home lark, and we all learned how to barbecue and learned how to entertain ourselves, and we were only allowed 6 people and 2 relatives, 3 dogs, and a forked prong and all that sort of stuff. And people, like I say, in 2022 have sort of got back into the groove of going out. So are you all going out? I know San is sorting herself out. She is. It's great. She gives us a nice long list, and it's all here in the chat room, of all the food they sorted out. She's a bit of a master in the kitchen, by the way. All the food she sorted out here, and it just makes me feel like getting on the road and going up and joining her, but that involves getting on the road, and we don't do a whole load of that because I did all that for years. Not anymore. I don't think so.
Holly's Wild Side.
There most certainly is. Yes, thank you for the comments. I did sort of somewhat go into party mode, and I thought, well, I'll have a little bit of a laugh with all the gang, and I'll spend some time fluffing the furs out. It sort of parallels in a little bit with the 80s thing I was watching before I came on air, and with all the white hair and everything else. And put it this way, it is now going to take me at least a whole day to get a brush through that lot. It's probably about half a can of hairspray in there, but there you go. It's what we do. It's what we used to do. That was what I used to do when I went out sort of partying myself. Let's say I didn't get a lot of chance to do it, being in the entertainment biz as I was. It was always up on stage, although it sort of fitted in quite well there, but that's how it was. Right, okay, like I say, we have lost a few quite significant entertainment personalities this year. I think not as bad as 2016. I think that was probably the year. Somebody tallied it up. It was like sort of 70 or 80 huge great names we lost that year. But yeah, we've lost a few this year, and the first one I'm going to play, and obviously this is only a few weeks ago, Irene Cara, so obviously we have to play in her memory, Fame.
Holly's Wild Side.
Yes, we're certainly trying to, when I say more music variety, we are keeping it rather up-tempo, so it's sort of all dancey around stuff, because let's face it, you're all going to be dancing way past midnight. Oh, come on. I know most of my listeners are probably a similar age to me. I know there are you young sprogs out there, and you really will be dancing, but most of us are sat at home with, I got a litre of gin and a pack of 6 sausage rolls or something. Hey, that sounds like my kind of party. Right, as I say, going back to the requests, the delightful San wanted Diana Ross with Chain Reaction, and this, my darling, is just for you.
To party.
Holly's Wild Side.
It most certainly is. Diana Ross with Chain Reaction. More gear changes than a truck going up a hill. Oh, sorry, that's key changes, same thing. And you don't realise until you go out. I'll talk a little bit about 2022 that's gone past, because it's been quite significant for me. You don't realise quite what an LGBT ally Diana Ross is, and let's face it, coming out must be the anthem for all the Pride events that I attended this year, and I did quite a few with my alter ego, Miami Media. I was out filming a lot of these adventures. I know I'm crackling and doing stuff. I got lots to do, and it read down really well. But there you go. So as well as this, the absolutely delightful Jilly Bean, Jilly and I have actually met up, and we had a real ball. She is a real fun character, and I love her to bits. She heard it through the grapevine, and there's some significance to that, but she's not actually saying what, so we got to find out. Come on, you gang, let's find out.
Holly's Wild Side. Holly's Wild Side.
You see, the thing being with a video show is this one is running out on video as well as your normal audio feeds. You sometimes drop along some, and that one was a live feed that Marvin Gaye was doing of that particular song, and then you get some bloke who was on the phone and all the rest of it. You have to be watching the videos to understand what was going on, because if you're just listening, it doesn't make sense. So like I say, 2022, for me, it was the year I retired. This time last year, if anybody out there was actually listening to or even watching, because I did a video show then, was watching the show I was doing, I was rather in a turmoil. I just lost my job, the one I'd had for like 15 years, and I was in a turmoil as to what to do. And just 12 months down the line, as I say, I ended up retiring in March. 12 months down the line, things are much clearer. What you have to realise, however much stress and hassle is in front of you at the moment, in 12 months' time you just don't know where it's all going to be. It's all one great big mystery. Oh, have we got that one in the list? No, we haven't. Oh, well, never mind. You just have to sing it to yourself.
Great music all the time.
Tolly's Wild Side.
Like I say, that came from the biography film version down to Jerry Lee Lewis there with Great Balls of Fire. And as I say, the talking bits in the middle make no sense unless you see the pictures, but it sort of commemorates the fact that we lost the great guy as time went on. Right, back to the little suggestions that all you gang have made, and the absolutely wonderful Paul Brett decided that we should be playing on a night like this Baggy Trousers from Madness. And who am I to dispute it?
Tolly's Wild Side.
That's what they call the stop motion animation version of Baggy Trousers. No, I don't know what went wrong there either. But there you go. That was what we decided to play. Obviously, again, another one of the artists we've lost is the delightful Olivia Newton-John. Now everybody would play something from Grease, but this next one is my favourite Olivia track because, well, just because of the musicality. It's good.
Lock it on to the best station on the net. Online. Around the planet on the World Wide Web. Streaming 24/7. Internet radio.
Yeah, get on with it. Dragged out jingles. Yes, when poor Olivia passed away, everybody sort of went nuts on doing different things to do with what she'd done and all. I don't know whether they actually broadcast that or whether I actually ordered a Blu-ray of it, but I think it was a Blu-ray. I now have a copy of that, and it really was one of these films where it was not hugely popular when it first came out, but obviously now people are going to go bonkers over listening to it and everything else. So that was Olivia Newton-John with Xanadu. Coming back to New Year's Eves of past, as I say, I spent a lot of time on stage playing in bands and stuff like this, and particularly back in the 70s, if you were doing a New Year's Eve gig, you had to play stuff like this.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Hold on tight, here we go.
Gibson Brothers with Cuba, or Cuba as they pronounce it, and I played that one a few times on different shows, and the sound itself is great and you boogie along to it. It's only when you see the video that goes with it you think, oh, that's like so 1976. Oh, absolutely wonderful stuff. Right, okay, move on to another little request. Tony Papa Bearwood. Tony is a brilliant DJ. He does a lot with Scar to Soul. In fact, he does a show that's actually named that. And I sat and listened to some of his stuff last night, and he is able to nail certain things. But obviously, with the passing of Terry Hall from the Specials, he wanted a specific Specials track that I hadn't actually heard before. And this, Tony, is for you.
Thanks very much.
Get ready. For the wildest experience.
So a nice live version there of Little Bitch from the Specials. Again, not what I've heard of. I mean, anybody else would have played all the normal Specials tracks, but Tony came up with that one. I thought, yes, he knows what he's doing, so we will do just that. Now, as you're well aware, as I say, I have done numerous gigs over numerous years, countless years in fact, playing on stages in bands as a bass player. And as a bass player, you learn to appreciate stuff like this.
Great music that makes you want to turn up the volume loud.
So do so. And then you get all the nice bass response from Gene Knight and Mr. Big Stuff. Yes, I know I've played that one numerous times before, but it's a good track and it's good dancey stuff, and it gets you into the mood for your New Year's Eve out. New Year's Eve on a Saturday on the same day, that's got to be good, hasn't it? Yes, that's my little pointy thing that I used to try and use the touchscreens around here, because when you got those, darling, it just doesn't work. So there you go. Yeah. Now, I would have played a Doobie Brothers track anyway on this show, but it turns out that again we've lost one of the original members of the band, John Hartman. So we can't not include this.
Great music that makes you want to turn up the volume loud.
Oh, we had that one before, never mind. just to make sure that one still works. Doobie Brothers, Listen to the Music. The sort of thing that if you did play in bands back in the 70s, you had to play every single week because people wanted to bop along to it. Right, okay, back to requests. The absolutely wonderful, delightful Gary wanted an ABBA track and he wanted Dancing Queen. So this, sir, is for you.
And now, live on the decks, bringing you the hottest sounds. Let's go.
Yeah, nice live version there of ABBA and Dancing Queen. As I said at the top end of the show, sorry, I'm going to fluff me furs out here, we're getting rather caught up here. Top end of the show, a lot of the stuff, because it's a video show, has to be pulled off video content, so that you get a lot of live versions and different versions, but it all gives you an idea of what these people can do when they're playing New Year's Eve gigs. Can't imagine ABBA down the local social club, can you? But I suppose they must have started that way.
We're not magicians. We just put magic into our music.
Dr. Feelgood, Milk and Alcohol. Who came up with the title of that? Milk and Alcohol. Yes, I mean alcohol. I mean we've all been rock. Okay, some of us have been rock musicians. Milk and Alcohol. No, I don't know where that came from. It's sort of like, and I've said many times, you wonder what was being taken in the studio when they came up with that. Right, okay, let's move this back to the 70s, and we went round to the local village halls and the village hops and the village dances, and we danced stuff like this, and you think, why?
Live the life, respect the music, and keep your radio locked in.
Tina Charles with I Love to Love, and you sit back and you think, oh, that's a great track, I can dance along to that, and then you watch the somewhat strange 70s video. Some time back I did a 1976 special. I think that was a video show as well, and as I said at the time, I was going to get all decked out in 1976 kit and sit in front of the camera, except I realised in 1976 everybody was wearing sort of brown corduroy pinafore dresses. It didn't work at all, but the music was good, and it continues with stuff like this.
Your station for the best new music and classics.
Sister Sledge and Lost in Music, yet again, all those the debatable 70s fashions, but that's how it goes. Now, as you're well aware, I have spent a lot of my musical and particularly my radio and TV career in country music, so I obviously keep an eye on what's happening in that scene as well, and yet again, one of the huge losses to the country music scene this year was Loretta Lynn. I've played Loretta's stuff live on stage myself. I have played it on radio. I've certainly played it on TV when I was doing that all those few years ago, and it's a great loss. So it's really down to me to commemorate her the same as I commemorate everybody else in this situation.
We're Sassafras, and this is Holly Miami. See y'all.
It just occurred to me that, of course, a lot of you don't realise who Sassafras are. They are an American country stroke folk band that I had some involvement with a few years ago, and I was lucky enough to go over to Alabama and be involved with their productions and all the rest of it. So they're kind to my heart, and whenever I play a country track, what I did when I first brought out a programme called Holly's Country World, I actually got them to record those few jingles, and it's in keeping when you play Loretta Lynn with Coal Miner's Daughter, with money made by selling a hog. I often say, do that in a Bilston accent to get away with it. You just got to be of the right time. Right, okay, let's crack on. Would you realise, if I said to you Wild Cherry and play that funky music, would you realise that was 1976? No, you'd think it was a lot later. It weren't. It was there, I know, cause I was there.
Take me back in time as we rewind the music.
Wild Cherry and his Play That Funky Music, and anybody who's on Facebook has seen the cartoons that go around, and basically it's a picture of a skeleton in a grave with a guitar across it, and somebody says, so how did he pass then? Well, it was simple. He laid down the boogie and he played that funky music till he died.
Radio stations that play the same songs.
Stay with us.
and our no repeat guarantee.
Well, we don't repeat a lot anyway, apart from when I forget to repeat the jingles, but there you go. Where were you? This is a little question to all of you out there. Evening, Caitlin, how are you? You're looking fine, my love. Where were you in 1972? Okay, you weren't born. Right, well, I was, and I remember coming back from school just before the school holidays, and that broke. Now, people say Alice Cooper was sort of the original shock rocker, and he came out with that, and it became so popular. Yes, somebody worked out, we'll release it just as the school holidays start. Whoa, that was a bit of marketing that worked, didn't it just? Oh, we loved it.
Line 24/7, 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Yep, Depeche Mode there, just can't get enough, commemorating Andy Fletcher, who again passed this year. Well, one last one that I could, let's face it, I could have filled the whole show up with people that we've lost, but also you've got to filter other stuff in. So we've got to put Earth, Wind and Fire in, and obviously it's got to be Boogie Wonderland to commemorate Andrew Woodfolk, that also passed away this year.
We're social. Check us out on Twitter.
I expect we're social on other things as well. Obviously, Earth, Wind and Fire with Boogie Wonderland. We got about 10 minutes left of this show now, so we're going to really pick up the pace. We're going to really get you into the swing of it. I know a couple of you have already disappeared off out, and the rest of you are all ready to disappear off out. Me, once I finish this show, I'm going to disappear that way to my living room and see you at the rest of the new year. But until then, I know Lemmy didn't disappear this year, but he disappeared a couple of years ago, and you cannot let this time of year go past. Bearing in mind, I think he passed one of the last days of the year. So Ace of Spades, Motorhead, obviously.
Internet radio at its best.
Certainly is, yes. Motorhead with Ace of Spades. To keep the really heavy rock theme going, we're going to drop something in now that you can all headbang to. If you believe that, you believe anything. So there you go. A little snatch of Pussycat Dolls with Joy Ho. So we've got to the end of this New Year's Eve special with Holly's Wildside. I hope you enjoyed the sort of stuff we played out to you and the memories we've captured. It just remains for me to encompass, I mean, we're moving from 2022 into 2023. I know a lot of you are hoping that it's going to be a much better year, and I know a lot of you realise it is going to be a much better year. But either way, a lot of people will say the year is what you make it. So it just remains for me to wish everybody and all my gang the very, very best for the last of this year and moving into the next year, and a very, very happy new year. Now, whenever I play a New Year's Eve gig, I always go out on a certain version of Auld Lang Syne. If you're not into your folk music, you won't have heard this, but to me, it encompasses what Auld Lang Syne is all around. So please enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay warm, and this girl will see you all again in 2023. In fact, I'm back on air again tomorrow night, so we'll see you then, and just have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Just remains for me, Holly Miami, to wish you all the best and to simply say bye bye.